Hi, good morning everyone. In the previous classes, we have discussed about the goals in health psychology or goals of health psychology, and today we are going to discuss about the a brief history on health psychology, that is related to the body and mind relationship. A brief history on how the health psychology has come into the development, that is it is mainly focused on the mind body relationship. Yes, the we are having a brief history of the health psychology, that is the mind and body relationship, and a brief history we are dealing with, and it already goes through some of the areas like prehistoric times, and because it is in history age, and it connected with some of the evil spirits and Greeks bodily factors in health and illness, that is a humoral theory of illness. And also we have having a journey through, that is a middle ages, supernatural explanations for illness and technical basis of medicine. And also we have discussed the biomedical model, and there are some problems with this emergence of biomedical problems. And the other thing we have to discuss is the biopsychosocial model, so that we'll discuss in the upcoming slides. And when they primarily focused on the organic and cellular pathology as the basis for their diagnosis and recommending the treatments, it result into a new model that is called biomedical model. So from the result, they came to a new theoretical aspects or new model for the treatment, that is biomedical model that have been preferred in the area of formatting with disease. And it maintains that all illness can be explained on the basis of aberrant somatic bodily process such as biochemical imbalance or neurophysiological abnormalities. So this is the thing, or this biomedical model brings, or it maintains that all the illness are being happened because of with the somatic bodily process, and it is just happen because of biochemical imbalances and some other neurophysiological abnormalities, the problem with the nervous system, and some of the chemicals are being imbalanced or hormones are being imbalanced. So due to these all, the illness can be done. So they try to explain the illness based on these aberrant somatic bodily processes which are, and the biomedical model assumes that psychological and social process are largely irrelevant to the disease process. So from the side of biomedical model, they assumes that there is no role for psychology and social process for the disease process, only some of the aberrant somatic bodily process which leads into the case of illness. So that was the theoretical formation or resulting into the biomedical model. And there will be some problems with the biomedical model, and one by one we can see that some of the problems with the new resulted biomedical problems, biomedical model, which are having some of the problems. And the first one, that is reduce illness to low level process such as disordered cells and chemical imbalances, and fails to recognize social and psychological processes as powerful influences over bodily states, assumes a mind body dualism. And it also emphasizes illness over health rather than focusing on behaviors that promote the health. And the other one, that is the model cannot address many puzzles that face practitioners. Why? For example, if 6 people are exposed to a flu virus, do only 3 develop the flu? There will be some questions existing, and there is no answers for the why questions, why it is being happen like that. Okay, so there is no way for explaining that. Only they will be looking into the illness, and it will processed, such as the disordered cells and chemical imbalances. So only they will reduces the illness into this level. There will be only the problem with the disordered cells and some chemical imbalances, and they also fails to recognize, that is, social and psychological processes as powerful, and they fail to address the role of social and psychological process are being influences over the body, and they fails to recognize that there is a connection with the body and mind, that is body mind dualism, to diagnose or to make the treatment on this area. That is a limitation with the biomedical model, and it they only emphasizes the illness over, or the biomedical model only emphasizes illness over health, and they are not focusing on the behaviors that to promote the health. So they will just look after to the illness at the time of when they are only they will be focused on the health of the person of the time of illness, and they will not focus on the behavior of the person to how to promote the health of that person. That is one of the delimitation or problems with the biomedical model. And so these are the areas where the biomedical model will have some problems or issues, and it can be also considered as some of the limitations for this model. And on this basis, some other model has been come into existence, that is a biopsychosocial model, that we'll discuss in the next class, and the comparison between these two models also we'll discuss in the upcoming area. Yes, the rise of a biopsychosocial model. So how this biopsychosocial model has been risen up or emerged. So after the emergence of a biomedical model, the researchers have been making some of the researches on biopsychosocial model. That is, the biomedical viewpoint began to change with the rise of the modern psychology. So particularly with Sigmund Freud's early work on conversion hysteria. That is the model of a biomedical model. It is trying to, or it tries to change after the well modern psychology is being came into existence, and particularly with the work of Sigmund Freud, and it is on conversion hysteria. Yes, this conversion hysteria, that is mainly nowadays it is can be called as conversional disorder is. So this conversion disorder is classified psychiatrically as a somatoform disorder. So we can understand that the symptoms create the appearance of a medical illness that has no clear medical explanation for that. So you will be having a problem with the body, and we may not be find out some of the medical explanation for why it is being happen. So or what distinguishes it from other somatoform disorders such as hypochondria and somatization disorder. So this is about these conversion disorders. So Freud started to work on this type of disorders, and this work will make a change on the biomedical model. And according to Freud, specific unconscious conflicts can produce physical disturbances, and that symbolize repressed psychological conflicts also. And he said that there is some unconscious conflicts plays a role for the physiological problems or illness. Although this viewpoint is no longer central to health psychology, it gave rise to the field of psychosomatic medicine. So, this is not, it was not considered as a good viewpoint for to emerge, or it is no longer given give as center to health psychology to be risen up. Instead, it gave rise into the field of psychosomatic medicine, that is to the development of psychosomatic medicine only. So it is all about this psychosomatic medicine, that is the idea that specific illness are produced by people's internal conflicts, was perpetuated in the work of Flanders Dunbar in the 1930s and Franz Alexander in the 1940s. So it it is being continuing or uh, keep alive or keep going with the previously emerged idea that specific illness are produced by the some people's produced by the people's internal conflicts, and it also keep going with the work of the other two psychologists in that field. So, unlike Freud, these researchers linked patterns of personality rather than a specific conflict to specific illness. So, these researchers were trying to link the pattern of a personality for the problem or for the illness, but in the case of Freud, he mainly focused on a specific conflict for a specific illness. There will be only one specific conflict, which will internal conflict will be taken place, and that conflict is leading to the specific illness. So instead of that, these two researchers, they have tried to understand the patterns of personality also, and they also maintained that conflicts produce anxiety with the people, which becomes unconscious and takes a physiological toll on the body via the autonomic nervous system. So that is also being maintained, or these scientists were trying to bring out that the conflicts taken place, or the conflicts, internal conflicts, produce anxiety with the people, and which will lead to unconscious and takes a physiological toll on the body through the autonomic nervous system, which is present with the human body. Dunbar's and Alexander's work helped to shape the emerging field of psychosomatic medicine by offering profiles of particular disorders believed to be psychosomatic in origin, that is, caused by emotional conflicts. So their work helped the emergence of the new field of psychosomatic medicine, and they are prescribed for the medicine to be done for the psychosomatic disorder, or some or it is considered as the psychosomatic illness. And what they have done is they what on the basis of offering the profile, that is particular disorders are being uh, emerged as the or the origin itself as psychosomatic, and they believed like that, and that is caused by some of the emotional conflicts within the person. And some of the disorders, those or these disorders include, what are those disorders, like ulcers and hyperthyroidism and rheumatoid arthritis, essential hypertension, and neurodermatitis, that is skin disorders. So there is these are all the particular disorders believed to be psychosomatic in origin. and it can be also happen or caused by some of the emotional conflict within the person. And we now know that all illness raise psychological issues. Moreover, researchers now believe that a particular conflict or personality type is not sufficient to produce the illness. So, in the case of a psychosomatic, or in the starting stage of the psychosomatic medicine, that is with the help of Sigmund Freud in the area, that he said that there is some specific conflict for some specific illness. But now the era has changed, that is now the researchers believe that there is not only a particular conflict or personality type, and it is not sufficient to produce the illnesses. So instead of that, there will be several factors working together, which may include a biological pathogen, that is such as viral or bacterial infection, coupled with social and psychological factors such as high stress, low social support, and low uh, socio-economic status. So there will be a club of both biological pathogen and some of the other psychological factors also included in the area of developing an illness. So that is that is the belief that now researchers come into existence with the supporting areas. And the idea that the mind and body together determine health and illness logically implies a model for studying these issues. This model is called the biopsychosocial model. And later the idea brings out, that is mind and body together works for the health and illness, and uh, it is also being helpful for studying these issues also. And later this model is being developed, or it is being known as biopsychosocial model, and its fundamental assumption is that health and illness are consequences of interplay of biological, psychological, and social factors. So from that word it is very clear that, or we will understand, biopsychosocial model. So it is an assumption that health and illness are the consequences of biological, psychological, and social factors. So these three areas make an interplay for the health and illness also. So that is the concept related to biopsychosocial model.